Okay, so for our breakfast, our just take and go, easy peasy, you know, around here, I'm the only one that stays at home and works from home. Aaron and all of my children go out of our house early in the morning. It's a holiday, it's Labor Day. Cody left at 5:30 this morning for work. So they leave super early. They have lots and lots going on. So breakfast that they can grab and go is the best way for us to operate at our house so that I'm not getting up sometimes 3 and 4 in the morning to make sure that everyone has breakfast. They're all old enough, they can grab it, head out the door, easy peasy. Is just a simple classic breakfast burrito. Get in here, I'll show you how we make it. We roll it and we freeze it. Welcome to our vlog. We are the Milnes family. We started building a modern homestead outside of Wasilla, Alaska in the summer of 2021. That's my husband, Aaron. I am Jessica, a stay-at-home wife and mom. Our second son, Caleb, lives here with us, along with our daughter, Cody Ann, and the youngest of our family, Wyatt. We brought our 2 dogs, Tipper and Daisy, and got a new addition, the Alaska dog, Roberto. Okay, the first thing we're gonna get going on is the potatoes. I watch and hear the news like everyone else. My family doesn't actually like things like au gratin potatoes or those sort of things. So I wouldn't stock those because we wouldn't eat them. So it would be wasteful for me to spend money just because they're calling for a potato storage or potato shortage. It would be wasteful for me to buy something that our family is not going to eat anyway, whereas instead of potatoes, we could eat pasta or something else. So this is one of the only dry potato products my family will actually eat. So I do keep these for emergencies. We just stocked up on some new ones from Costco, and these technically just reached their expiration. They're fine, we can still use them past the expiration, but they are a dried potato that you add hot water to this line, and then they reconstitute and become potatoes. So they feel just like a regular hash brown. So how I cooked these, and it does give you like frying instructions and so on. I don't want to deal with it on my countertop, so I divide these onto 2 baking sheets. All right, onto the 2 baking sheets, half and half. Thin layer though, because we want them to get crispy and we want them to cook really quickly. So real thin. To help crisp them up, even though I don't need the oil to keep them from sticking because I have these mats, we like a little grapeseed or avocado or olive oil, whatever kind of oil you like as your good cooking oil that you want the flavor of. Okay, season these liberally, but season them with what you like. So I'm gonna do a little red pepper flake, garlic salt, zhuzh them around into a super hot 450-degree oven. Wait for them to brown, and they're done. The next layer of the burrito we're getting going on is the meat or the sausage. So in this episode, I'm gonna make you 2 breakfast burritos. So this is just a Jimmy Dean sausage that I get at Costco. Because we like ours spicy, and they don't make these big rolls, or I could have done small ones, but I got, like I said, Costco. Some red pepper flake, and 2 whole jalapenos. I'm gonna cook the jalapenos with the meat. All right, get on over here. We are going to start on the eggs. I'm gonna preheat my egg pan. Eggs are a bit more important that we preheat the egg pan than we should have preheated the sausage, but I'm not that concerned. And because of the amount of eggs I'm doing a whole stick of butter, but I'm not going to add any milk or cream or anything like that to my eggs. So a little oil and butter in the pan. And then I'm going to do at least 2 dozen eggs. So I turned it down pretty close to low. It's boiling, but I'm gonna pour this in, and I'm not going to touch the eggs for a minute or so because I want them to naturally release from the bottom of the pan. But I am going to season in layers, and lots of different seasonings. So just some sea salt. Oh, see the bubbles? That means that the eggs are not stuck to the bottom. Oh, beautiful. So just want to move it around, maybe twice, and leave it. So eggs and cast iron are very temperamental, but it is possible to not get a bunch of sticking, but if you do, it's just easy peasy. Scrub up your pan, no big. All right, I just pulled these potatoes out of the oven, and look, in the amount of time it took us to cook everything up, they are brown and crispy, and I didn't have to flip them or do anything with them. You can pick it up. So I just put the meat in a colander on a plate so that we don't want this to be a greasy breakfast burrito. And look at the amount of grease that's, and you don't want to wash that down your sink. So we don't want that in there. So let me give this a little stir. Let me get this mixed up. Before I mix this up, I was gonna show you, I do one of these 7-ounce cans of green chilies. Okay, I had started the assembly and apparently my camera wasn't running. So I have these foil sheets that I get from Costco. I have my plate of tortillas here. I build mine like this, a little refried beans, 1 cup of filling, and I like my filling to be chunky. I like when you bite into it to know what it is you're getting, whether it's an egg or sausage. We're doing pepper jack cheese on ours. We just roll it up into the foil and then into the freezer, and you take it out of the foil, and my kids microwave it for 2 minutes with our microwave. I don't know how your microwave works. You would just need to work with that, but you can certainly defrost them the night before in the refrigerator, so on. And then also, you could make these, like these are really big, but my family is bigger and older kids and all of that. So you may make yours like in little tacos or smaller tortillas, and maybe add some things that your littles might like, or however you want to do it. So again, just gonna keep going making these burritos until I'm out of filling. All right, for the next breakfast item, obviously it's a different day, and what I would suggest is if you have the time to do one giant cooking day, fine, do that. But as you go along your week, if you will multiply things that you've made for your children or your family that day, and then do a bunch for the freezer, it does make your life a little bit simpler, in my opinion. But I've made these before on the channel, so if you've already seen that, just skip on through and get to the next thing. If not, we are doing a chorizo potato and egg burrito. I'm gonna get you in here, I guess, and show you. Let's go. Dice your potatoes super small, cover in water, bring them to the boil, and shut them off. As the potatoes reach the boil, strain them, put them on sheet pans with a little bit of oil and seasoning of choice, 450, until golden brown. Our chorizo comes in packages like this. You could certainly leave it in the casing and slice or something else, but I take it out of the casing, put it in a preheated cast iron pan with a little bit of oil, and chop and fry it up just like you would any other ground meat. Preheat your cast iron egg pan just like we did the day before with a little bit of oil and a stick of butter. I'm going to prep and get about 2 dozen eggs ready, just like I did for the breakfast burritos in the previous segment. Make sure you keep an eye on the meat, but whisk up your eggs, put them in that preheated cast iron skillet. Now it's been turned down to low or nearly low. Salt and pepper to taste. Don't touch it until it starts to bubble up, and then we know it has released from the bottom. Pull the potatoes from the oven when they're crisp and golden brown. They do not take all that long to cook. By the time I did everything else, the potatoes were finished. They were nice and crispy. They go into the bowl along with the chorizo because I want the potatoes to absorb the chorizo's flavor. Add in the eggs, give it all a good mix, and you are ready to make some burritos. Okay, same setup as before. Tortilla, 1 spoon of beans. Skip the beans if you don't like them. Roughly 1 cup, just under 1 cup, otherwise it's hard to roll. Some cheese. For these, we do a little bit of red onion. 2 or 3 pieces of jalapeno. Roll. Here. Tuck in the ends. Roll it up. So I have to run down and get a couple more, another pack of the burritos out of the freezer that we got at Costco. But I had some taco shells, and so I'm actually having this for lunch. But I wanted to tell you, it literally is one of my favorite things to eat. And we don't just eat this for breakfast, we will eat this for dinner. In fact, the kids and I eat it quite a bit, especially when Aaron was gone, but he loves it as well. So another way that you can do it, and something I'm doing for Aaron, is I have quite a bit left, and I do have more burritos and plenty of the other things, but I will make him a couple of glass bowls of it for the rest of the week, and he will just throw some taco shells on the side, put some hot sauce on it, and it makes a great breakfast bowl. It does not have to be in the burrito form. So another great way to kind of use ingredients like this and make it however the people in your house that like it that way. And you might want to use these little taco shells if you have little kids, that sort of thing, and you can roll them up a little bit smaller. So I hope you enjoyed this one. We are going to jump to another breakfast right now. Little Spoon Farm, I think, has the best sourdough recipe for bagels, and here's how you do it. The link is in the description box, but the night before, I start with 1/2 cup of sourdough starter along with 1 cup and 1 tablespoon of water, 2 tablespoons of honey, 2 teaspoons of sea salt, and 4 cups plus 2 tablespoons of bread flour. I give it a mix before I put the bread in it to give the sourdough and the water a chance to come together. Once I have it all incorporated, now I did 4 times the recipe on this. That's why mine is so full. I let the mixer go for 6 or 7 minutes, and then I leave the sourdough bagels just in the bowl with the lid on overnight. It did push the lid off, so I had to push it down a little bit the next morning. And the next morning I started dividing out the sourdough. So like I said, mine was 4 times, and then each recipe makes 8 bagels. And so I divided it into first 4, and then I divide each of the 4 into 8 separate bagels. I did weigh each one of the first 4 chunks so that I could figure out if we were going to be pretty close on size. And of course we were. It worked out fairly well. And we started getting to work on making some bagels. After I made the 32 little bagel balls, if you will, I then just poke my finger in the middle and shape them into the classic bagel shape. And then I let mine rise. My house was cool for about an hour before I brought my water to boil. Because I'm doing so much water and so many bagels, that's half of a cup of brown sugar. And then I boil the bagels on each side for about 2 minutes each. They become really big and fluffy at this point. I take them out, I put them on a cookie sheet, get them ready to go in the oven. I believe it's 425 degrees. Again, the link is in the description box. I use an egg wash because most of these bagels are going to be used for breakfast sandwiches. We did some everything but the bagel seasoning on top. We get that at Costco, but I believe Azure also has that seasoning. I cannot even begin to tell you how delicious these bagels are. Cody and I ate several that day and the next day before we made our sandwiches. Good morning and welcome to the next segment in the video of Grab and Go Breakfast. Let me show you what we're doing here. So I already made all of these English muffins and all of these bagels. I was having an issue with my starter. I've worked through that issue, and in doing so, I needed to keep feeding it, and so I needed to make some things. And so what better than some quick, easy grab and go breakfast? So I'm gonna show you how we're gonna turn these into sandwiches that Aaron, the kids, myself, we can all grab, heat up quickly. Even if we just let them defrost all the way, some of my family is really weird and they will actually eat them cold as long as it's cooked all the way through. We're going to make 3-4 different kinds of sandwiches out of these. And then this last one, these are cinnamon and sugar bagels. Those are for Wyatt. We are going to either just put them in the fridge or save a few of them in the freezer for him. He likes those with just cream cheese, so those won't become sandwiches. But the first thing we're gonna do is get eggs going in the oven because I just do not want to deal with making all of the eggs. Let me show you how. Get in here. Let's go. Let's get in it. To bake my eggs, I do put parchment and completely cover the baking sheet so that the eggs don't spill over and make a mess on the pan. I just zip them up in my food processor or any kind of blender that you have. I put a little oil down to keep them from sticking and then pop them in a 350-degree oven until they are set or cooked through. I prepped the bacon and started the sausage, just like I made this sausage earlier in the video for the burritos with a little pepper and some jalapeno. Got all that fried up and began making the breakfast sandwiches. The ham and egg and cheese ones, of course, were the simplest ones to make because they did not require cooking a bunch of the meat. I just slice up the eggs after they come out of the oven, and I put them on their square. This is what I was talking about. I don't want to take my time and make round breakfast sandwiches or be concerned with any of that. I individually wrap everything and then pop them in the freezer. Yes, I did do ground pork sausage on the breakfast sandwiches. When the cheese melts over it, it just holds it all together, and it's really not that big of a deal. You could always get patties, use breakfast patties, anything like that, or make them yourself as well. No big deal. I also made bacon sandwiches the same as I did the sausage and the Canadian bacon. And then I repeated the process for whatever bagels that we had left over. All of these go into the freezer. We pull them out, let them come up in the refrigerator, and then just microwave them for a minute, minute and a half. And you have a hot, ready to go breakfast sandwich. So in just around an hour, so by the time the eggs were done, I was ready. We just moved on through the whole time. The bacon cooked while I put the other sandwiches together. There was no stop. We put all of these sandwiches together in really short order. So 5 of the sausage bagels, 5 of the bacon bagels, 5 of the ham and cheese bagels, 15 each of the ham and egg McMuffins, sausage and egg McMuffins, and bacon and egg McMuffins. And then these 2 things of the sausage meat, I did that on purpose, even though it's not a quick grab and go breakfast that you can take with you. Our family's favorite breakfast is actually biscuits and gravy, and we love sausage gravy. So frying all of it up ahead of time, I'm gonna pre-freeze that and then put it in the vacuum sealer or the chamber vac and pop that in the freezer. I left the fat and the moisture, the water in it, because that is what we use to add the flour, turn it into gravy. But real quick and easy, I can whip up a white gravy with that. So that is wonderful. So in this episode, we made burritos, 2 types of breakfast burritos, and then all of these sandwiches along with some sourdough bagels. Easy peasy, couple of quick and easy breakfasts. It takes a while, but if you just concentrate on one thing, get it done all the way, you can fill your freezer. So do the math, 45 sandwiches plus 50, 55, 60. That's 60 breakfast sandwiches in about an hour. That will last my family a good bit of time. So thank you, those of you that have stuck around all the way to the end of this video. If you like what you see around here, or you're interested in learning more of our homestead, how I feed this tribe that we have going around here, and all of their friends, these are great. Wyatt pops them, several of them, in his bag when they go for a football game. He can share with teammates, all of that. Really easy, good, simple tricks of ways to prep and have stuff in your freezer ready to go for your family. Then you should hit that subscribe button. When you ring the bell, you get notifications. When you give thumbs up and leave comments, all those things help our channel to grow, and we greatly appreciate each and every one of you for being here. If you're new around here and you say hello in the comments, I will try and say hello back to you. And I do hope that you have a blessed week. I hope you find something to be incredibly thankful for, and I hope that you and your family have a full belly. You try some of these things, make your life a little bit easier moving forward. Have a wonderful week. I'll catch you in the next video.